Hey bitches, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Only Black Girl here, bitch, tuning in, alright? So I just got back from a fantastic weekend down at Afropunk in Brooklyn. It was my first time going to New York and my first time going to Afropunk. I just kind of want to talk about my experience overall, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Overall, I absolutely loved it. Like 90% of the conference, I should call it a fucking conference. 90% of the festival was great and absolutely loved it. It's fantastic. Um, then there's some things that I just think that they should try to change or incorporate in it. Not necessarily negative things, just some things that I kind of thought of. Well, there's like, it'd be kind of nice to have this. And then there was really just one thing that was really kind of just big enough and that it really kind of pissed me off about the Afropunk team in particular. And I'll talk about the end because it's really the only thing that really stood out to me as something that was just so overwhelmingly negative to me to the point where it just made me uncomfortable to be there. So I'm going to talk about all of it. I went down there with 3 other girls. 2 of them were from Boston, where I am. There are actually 2 other Tumblr bloggers that I've been talking to for a while. And then another girl that I know from back home. She lives in Jersey and she just kind of met us there. So I went down there with a squad of 4 girls all together. We stayed in Queens, which is a ways away from Brooklyn, but we wanted a bigger place and it was a lot cheaper. So we just, dealt with the hour train ride. It wasn't really that bad at all because you could just take one train directly there. So that was who I went with. I think it's definitely a lot more fun to go with people, but also like if you're somebody like me and you like have specific things that you want to do, I think it might be kind of easier to go alone or just go with people who don't care if you lead the group, because I have people I wanted to see and bitch, I was fucking leading the group and I was going to stay to see that person even if you didn't want to. So, as far as like going with people, that was kind of my experience. I'm going to start with all the things that I loved about Afropunk, which was pretty much most of it. The biggest thing for me was the music. I work in the music business. I'm a huge music person. A lot of my favorite artists were both going to be there, and I also love learning about new artists. So the music was literally the reason that I went, and it didn't fail. Some of the people that I wanted to see the most were obviously fucking Janelle Monáe, because bitch, she's my wife and she fucking plays. Ice Cube was another one. George Clinton, Roman Gion Arthur, Angel Hayes, Gallant, who I really need y'all to get into. All of y'all who be talking about there ain't no real R&B bitch, get into Gallant because that nigga can sing. Yes. So those were some of the people that I really wanted to see. Also, the internet was there too. And there were loads of people you can go on to. I think the lineup is still on Afropunk.com, so if you're interested to see who was there, you can see the full lineup there. But it was a really good lineup. And I wasn't disappointed at all. So, I mean, there were some scheduling things that kind of bothered me that I'll talk about later when I talk about some of the cons. But, like, overall, the music itself was absolutely great. There was really only, like, a couple of artists that I was really just like, girl, you are fucking terrible, and please get off the stage. So my favorite performances overall were definitely Janelle Monáe. I have been wanting to see Janelle Monáe since forever, and the last time she was on tour, I had just moved to Boston, and I had just missed her tickets. And literally, like, as soon as I found out that she was here, I went to buy tickets and they were all sold out, so I didn't get to see her. And then I was supposed to go see her this summer at Boston Calling, and I ended up having to sell my ticket because I had to fucking go work this Races by Country show. So every time I've been trying to see Janelle Monáe, I haven't been able to do it. So being able to see Janelle Monáe this time was absolutely, like, my fucking dreams came true. I don't know, I was pretty much so fucking turned up, like, bitches were looking at me like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And it's the same thing for Ice Cube. Ice Cube, I'm a huge fucking Ice Cube fan. NWA Ice Cube, muscle from the West Coast, bitch, rap, okay? And my nigga, I was so fucking turned for Ice Cube. This girl next to me was looking at me, bitch, are you okay? Even the security guard was like, are you okay? I'm like, bitch, you can't be up here on the fucking front of the barricade with Ice Cube and just be calm. Like, let me to me, bitch. Okay? Because I was lit. Boom, got me banging down these back streets, yeah. Like, I was going off. I really enjoyed George Clinton. He was so fucking adorable. The man's like 75 years old. And he's still up there doing his thing. They were so fucking turned. They were just fun. It was just funky music. I was out there getting my jam on with this little white lady next to me. And then Gallant was somebody else I really wanted to see. He's an artist that I just got into the past couple of months. He's a fantastic R&B artist. His voice is fucking amazing. Like that kind of voice that gives you chills. Like, whoo, whoo, Lord. Yes. And he was fun. He was just a lot of really high energy. He was really fun to listen to. So I absolutely love the musical. I really like that they have this section called Activism Rome. That's basically just all local Black community organizations. And I really appreciate Afropunk for going that extra mile of not just celebrating Blackness, but actually making sure that people are able to get involved in actually helping the Black community. So they have like the New York chapter of Black Lives Matter. They have Black Girls Rock there, and they have like at least probably 12 different community organizations that were there for you to sign up and kind of help actually do work in your community as Black people. And I was really excited to see that. It was something I was very impressed with because I've been to a lot of different like Black conferences and festivals and things like that, and they usually don't have those. So I was really excited to see that. Kind of along the same lines, they had a lot of vendors, like Black vendors, and I was really impressed that they were also doing a lot of support of Black-owned businesses. I bought some cute earrings and I picked up a lot of cards and things there. So I was really excited to see that. There were some vendors there that I was a little kind of side-eyeing because of some of their shit they had. Some nigga had like a t-shirt that was like the most awkward t-shirt I've ever seen in my life. There was one that had like all these slurs, like the F slur, and had like nigger, and it had like cunt and bitch, and then they were all crossed out, and it was like human. I'm like, nigga, if you don't get the fuck out. But overall, I think they were great, and I really like the support for Black-owned businesses. So some of the like tips or suggestions, I guess, like things that I was just kind of like, ooh, it'd be kind of nice to have this. One of the biggest things that I really kind of had wished that there was some sort of like a networking tent or events that kind of just went on throughout the day, because it's a great place to network. It's, you know, people come from all over the Northeast and really kind of all over the country. There's a lot of people who just kind of fly in for this event. And for people, for like everyday people like you and me, it'd be a great place to network. Like it's just everything is there for a great networking event. But unless you like just walk up to every single person that you meet and network, it just doesn't really work because there's thousands of people there. So I just kind of wish that there was some sort of like you could literally just have like a tent and be like there's a networking event every 3 hours or something, just somewhere, or even if it was just someone that's like, hey bitch, come over here and let's have some fucking, I don't know, cheese and crackers and talk to each other, or like a group discussion or something like that. That could, because there's a lot of time for people who are just taking breaks in between artists, and there was just kind of a lot of downtime for people who weren't interested in seeing one artist or another, and you could just be like, hey bitch, let's go fucking sip on some wine and eat some apples or some bullshit, and let's talk about like fucking, I don't know, police brutality. Like just some way that you could like network. The other thing that really bothered me about this was the scheduling of the artists. As somebody who also books artists myself, it was really disappointing to see that there was a really poor scheduling of the artists. So what I mean by that is a lot of the artists, like a lot, especially a lot of the bigger artists that people came to see, overlapped each other. For example, the Internet and Janelle Monáe overlapped each other by half an hour, which means I wanted to see both of those a lot. Like those two were the two artists. Those two and Ice Cube were really the reason that I bought my ticket to go to Afropunk, but I didn't get to see the Internet because Janelle Monáe ran over their set by half an hour. By the time you fucking shove your way through all these fucking people down to get to the other stage, their set is already over. So I didn't get to see the Internet, and I was really pissed about that. If you know that some people know artists more than the others, and you know that. Like, if you could say an artist's name and people are like, oh yeah, I know that artist, then you really should take care more to make sure that you schedule that artist during a time where there's maybe a lesser known artist. Not to say that the lesser known artist doesn't matter, but it's like, you know, the people are coming to see those artists in particular, so why would you not make sure that most people can go see that artist? That was a big thing for me that I really didn't like. Another part of the scheduling is I kind of wish that they had spread out the artists over the 2 days more, because they really just put all the newer artists on the first day, which means that, number one, literally fucking, it was like double the amount of people the second day. It was impossible to get anywhere. So they either need to expand the space size that they're at, or do better scheduling and make it sure it's evened out on both days. Because you went Saturday and yeah, it was crowded, but it really was manageable. And then come Sunday and like, it's so fucking full to the point where you can't get food unless you want to eat, sit in line for 3 hours. You can't get to artist sets in time because you're trying to shove through a fucking crowd of people that is like 692 fucking people deep. And it's like so fucking crowded that the lines like the lines to walk somewhere is at a standstill. It was just really kind of poor scheduling that way, and I really didn't like that. So I really hope that they kind of do better with that. I also kind of wish that they had more female artists and queer artists. Obviously, not everybody like announced their sexuality on stage or anything, but from what I know of most of the artists there were not queer. And yes, there were some female artists, but there weren't a lot of like actual solo female artists or like all female bands. Most of the female artists that were there were like one female in like a band of niggas. I do appreciate them actually putting some female artists on the lineup, but I just kind of wish there had been more. There's solo female artists or like bands of female artists, because I don't think there was a single like all girl band. And that would have been fucking awesome to see. And also just more queer artists in general. Okay, now the last thing that I want to talk about is the thing that really, really, really bothered me about Afropunk. The fat phobia and the colorism that I saw at Afropunk is something that really, really pissed me off. And it was something that wasn't just me. Like I said, I was there with 3 other girls. And 2 of the girls there are also light skinned girls, and one of them is even white passing. And they said and they observed the same shit that I did before I had even said anything. So my problem with it is really particularly with the Afropunk team itself, like the media team. Like I don't know who the fuck I don't know if they're volunteers or if they're paid, if they're like a paid staff or whatever like that. But every time I saw somebody from the Afropunk team like interviewing somebody or asking to take pictures or like here film this, it was always skinny, tall, light skinned girls in fucking high waist pants and crop tops, and that really bothered me. And it bothered me because Afropunk has been known for being like a safe space for Black people, and they have no racism and no fat phobia plastered all over that fucking park, and words the size of me, okay? And so to see them claim that they're like this safe space and no racism and no fat phobia, and then turn around and be like the most colorist and fat phobic people I have ever seen was really disappointing. I really didn't see it a lot from like the actual people who were there, because a lot of people brought their cameras, or a lot of like personal professional photographers. There were a lot of like independent professional photographers that just came with their cameras, and they were cool. Like they were taking pictures of just anybody who fucking looked awesome or came with their friends and looked fly or whatever it was. So even if you go on Afropunk's like social media, like I was scrolling through their Facebook today, every single dark-skinned person or fat person they have a photo of is pictures that somebody else took. But if you look at all the photos that the actual Afropunk team took, they're all skinny, tall, light-skinned girls with like 3B curls hair. And it really bothered me. Every time I turned around and saw somebody from the Afropunk team trying to interview or take pictures of somebody, it was always like the same stereotypical, like, this is what Black needs to look like. And it really bothered me. And I was looking on Tumblr this morning, and there was somebody else who had the same complaint. And like again, I said, even the 2 light-skinned girls, light white passing girls that I was there with was like, why the fuck are they always taking pictures of these skinny ass light-skinned girls? It just really bothered me to the point where it really made me uncomfortable as somebody who is dark-skinned and is a bigger woman. Like, why are we not valid as Black too? Like, I just don't understand why we're not allowed to be included. And it just further bothered me because it wasn't even like they were taking pictures of like light-skinned girls who were like dressed in like high fashion or like in their cultural fashions. It was literally like the most average fucking light skinned girls you could ever. Like you could literally just fucking walk outside and see that light skinned girl walking down the street. Meanwhile, there were like dark skinned girls who came fucking dressed head to fucking toe, showed out in their cultural outfits, looking fly as fuck, and they were like, nah girl, fuck you. We wanna go take a picture of fucking Zendaya over here, and like what the fuck that bitch's name is. That was really my biggest issue with it, and I really, really, really did not like that, and really kind of made me feel disgusted and uncomfortable to be there. And not to say that Afropunk is absolutely fucking terrible, we all need to burn them to the ground, but I really hope that they improve on that as like a Black organization. I think they need to do a lot better, and it just goes to show that a Black community ourselves, we have a lot of shit that we need to unlearn. So I really hope that they improve on that in the future, and if they don't, I may not ever go to Afropunk again, because honestly, I'm not going to tolerate Black people just continuing to be colorist and fat phobic, especially when you brag about not being colorist and fat phobic all the time. Yeah, that was my biggest issue with it, but overall, I really loved the festival, and I would totally go again as long as they own up to their mistakes and continue to try to better themselves. So, yeah, that was my experience at Afropunk. Yeah, that's it for this week, guys. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all bitches next week, alright? Bye!